Welcome to Email Services. This is going to be a long video, so buckle in and we'll go through each one of the steps to set up, create, utilize a dedicated domain. To find email services, click on the settings in the bottom left-hand side of your account, and inside the settings section, scroll down until you see email services. Once inside, you most likely will see this pop up that says create a dedicated domain. There's a couple of reasons why you should consider upgrading to a dedicated domain in your account. So let's click Create Dedicated Domain. Once you've clicked this part, you can then enter a domain name. The domain name that you choose can have a unique subdomain at the beginning. Options include no reply, .your domain. Others may be mail, .your domain, or marketing, .your domain. Make sure to think about the subdomain and the use case for this domain before filling out these details. Once you've filled in your domain, let's click Add and Verify. Your domain URL will show up inside of this box, and you have two options. You can either click on Continue or Add Record manually. When you click on Add Record manually, you'll be presented with the DNS records that you will need to manually copy and paste into your DNS account, such as GoDaddy or Cloudflare, among others. In our case, let's click Continue to automatically add these records into your account. You'll need to make sure that you are signed in to your domain and DNS records account to be able to automatically connect. Once your domain provider is found, then you can click on Authorize Domain. You will then be redirected to your DNS provider's authorization page. Make sure you verify each one of the records that are going to be added, and finally click on Authorize. You will then be redirected back into your account where you can see all of the records that will either say not verified or verified under the status section. Let's click on Verify Domain in the bottom right-hand corner, and you will see that several of the records have been verified while others have not. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for these records to propagate into the account. So retry after a select amount of time and period until the domain is verified. Every once in a while, some of these statuses will switch to not verified that have previously been verified. Do not be concerned with this. Sometimes it takes more time for the details to propagate. You can continue to click on Re-verify the domain until the email settings have been propagated into your DNS provider. While we wait for these status and DNS records to be updated and verified, let's hover to the top left-hand corner of the email services section, and let's click on Back to Dedicated Domains. On this page, you have a couple of details. You'll be able to see the domain record at the top. Below this, you'll have dedicated header in which you can apply this for all emails that are sent through this domain. You have the ability to add a shared IP. However, this is only recommended for certain use cases where you have large sending amounts through this email. Next, you can see the SSL issue date and the status of this domain. In our case, this is a brand new domain, and several of the DNS records are still propagating in the account. On the top right-hand corner, you have the ability to add additional domains. At the top, you also have dedicated domain and domain configuration. Let's click on Domain Configuration. Inside of Domain Configuration, you can customize where emails are sent from, choosing unique domains for email types. For example, if you wanted a particular email domain to only send through workflow domains, you can select that domain in this account. If you want a separate domain name for your email services to send one-on-one conversations, such as marketing.your domain name, you can enter that here. If you want bulk emails to send from no-reply@yourdomain.com, you can then add that domain here. You also have the ability to adjust the frequency settings once the domains are added. Let's click Back to Dedicated Domain. Inside of this section, let's click on the three dots in the upper left-hand corner of your domain box. At the moment, we have the ability to set headers in which we can enter in a from name that is a designated header for which all emails originating from this domain will send. Clicking back at the three dots, you also have the ability to delete the domain and verify the domain. For now, let's click back to SMTP services. On this page, we have a couple of options available to us. We can see the SMTP service and the default provider. Next, we have reply and forward settings. In this section, you'll be able to set up emails as your forwarding address. Note that forwarding addresses cannot use the same domain as your sending domain, so that you prevent infinite loops. You also have the ability to BCC emails inside of your account and forward emails to an assigned user. Next, you can select a reply address to be added to all emails. This will set a default reply email to all emails in your account. However, this reply causes conversations that are replied to not being able to be tracked in a conversation thread within your account. Next, we can look at email analytics. Each one of these boxes can be sorted by a unique amount of time and additional filters by email source. You can click on individual email boxes to sort your email report. Next, you can look at the risk assessment and keep track of the email verifications and the risk associated with each. Let's click back at SMTP services. In this area, we can add additional services, providers such as Outlook, Gmail, SendGrid, and others, or add additional dedicated domains by clicking on Dedicated Domain. Once all the status sections are switched to verified, your account will be ready to send. Make sure you follow proper email warm-up sequencing to make sure that your reputation of your dedicated email stays consistent to allow you to send. There's one additional record that's a DMARC record that says optional, but you should add it to your account.